We'll start with the prayers. Om Bhadram Karnebhi Shruniyama Deva Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajatraha Stirairangaihi Suštuvagum Sashtanuvihi Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuhu Swasti na Indro Vrittashravaha Swasti na Pusha Vishvavedaha Swasti nastachorarishtaneमिः Swasti no brihaspatirdhadatu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We are studying Mandukya Upanishad with Shankara Bhashyam. We are in the third chapter and the fifth verse. The third chapter is called as Advaita Prakaranam. And this chapter is the most difficult chapter and a very challenging chapter because the commentary reveals the truth of this entire universe. You can't find any other similar text in the entire Upanishadic literature which is equivalent to the third chapter of Mandukya Upanishad. We studied 10 Upanishads. Amongst the 10 Upanishads, Mandukya is the greatest. In the Mandukya Upanishad, the third chapter is the most challenging chapter. Shankaracharya, in his style of writing a commentary, in some verses, he will write a short commentary. In some verses, he elaborates the commentary tremendously. And this is one of the verses, verse number 5. He brings in a lot of debates and then finally concludes very simply. Very nicely, he concludes the commentary. Now, we have covered almost, I would say, 50% of the commentary. We still have another 100 slides to go. Let's start from where we stopped last week. We stopped in point number 26. What is this commentary and what is this fifth verse? Let me just briefly explain to you. The fifth Karika, what does it state? It states that the nature of Atma is asangaha. It does not get contaminated with the three sharirams. It does not get affected by the panchakoshas. It does not get affected by the three avasthas. This is the basic definition Shankaracharya gives in Tattvabodha. We must keep that in mind when we try to understand this particular fifth mantra. In the fifth mantra, an example is taken. From the third Karika to the ninth Karika, there is one example which is taken up by Gaudapadacharya, which is the space example. Space. Space is compared to Brahma. Space is compared to Atma, my real nature. And in the fifth Karika, there is an example of pot space and total space. What Gaudapadacharya says is the pot space can be soiled, or it can have dirt. That does not mean the total space gets soiled up or dirtied. Similarly, so this is the example. Similarly, he says one mind, one mind in consciousness may have happiness and sorrow. It doesn't mean everybody in the world will have happiness or sorrow. This is the Karika. This is the meaning of the actual meaning of the verse. Shankaracharya takes this and then develops a complete debate between the four philosophers. Who are the four main philosophers who are opposed to Vedanta? Number one, Sankhya. Number two, Yoga. Number three, Vaisheshika. Number four, Nyaya. These were the four philosophers which existed during Shankaracharya time. Today they are not there. So he is trying to debate with these four philosophers and trying to say Advaitam is the ultimate truth. Dvaitam is not the truth which is revealed by the Upanishads. Just above this 26th, we have got Sankhya Sutras. Sankhya is developed by Kapila Muni. Like we have Vyasa's Brahma Sutras. Sutra means it is giving the gist of the Upanishads. Sankhya also have sutras, 72 verses in their sutras. Yoga also has got Patanjali. Patanjali is the philosopher who developed Yoga Shastra. They also have sutras. Nyaya developed by Gautama. They also have Nyaya Sutras. Brahma Sutra has got 555 sutras. It is also called as Uttara Mimamsa. Then Vaisheshika developed by Kanada Muni. It has its own sutras. Purva Mimamsa, the people who believe in rituals, they also have got Jaimini sutras. So there are 6 sutras which are available, developed by 6 philosophers. In this Karika number 62 of the Sankhya Sutras, it says that Purusha is never bound nor is he released. There is no bondage or liberation for Atma or Purusha. Purusha does not have samsara. Then whom does the samsara belong? Samsara belongs to Prakriti. Bondage and moksha is attributed to Prakriti or nature or Pancha Bhutas. So that is what is being said in this Sankhya Sutra. It is a Sankhya philosophy which says Prakriti is endowed with Nama Rupa and it has got Chit Abhasa. This Prakriti alone gets liberated. Now, according to Sankhya, Prakriti is Jadam. Jada means inert. And Prakriti being inert, it gets liberated also. This is a wrong philosophy. Prakriti and Purusha both are independently existing according to Sankhya. What you should do is listen to this commentary, try to understand other philosophers, and then try to see how Vedanta, Advaita philosophy, satisfies the conditions necessary for moksha. What does Vedanta say? Vedanta says the wall is jadam, it is inert. Wall cannot get liberated. But Sankhya says wall is Prakriti and Prakriti gets liberated. What does Vedanta say? Vedanta says Chit abhasa sahita manaha. Chit abhasa sahita manaha means what? The mind associated with consciousness, reflected consciousness, is the jiva who gets liberated. This jiva drops identification with the mind, which is matter, and realizes that sentiency does not belong to the mind, it belongs to the higher tattvam, which is called as Atma tattvam. Matter does not have consciousness inbuilt in it. That is Vedanta. Vedanta introduces the third component. What does Sankhya say? There are only two components, Prakriti and Purusha. They both are independently existing. Prakriti is never bound or liberated. Purusha is always Mukta Purusha, Nitya Mukta Purusha, according to Vedanta. Sankhya says Prakriti gets liberated. What does Vedanta bring in? A third component. Along with this matter and spirit, Vedanta brings in a reflected consciousness theory, Chid Abhasa. This Chid Abhasa is extremely important for understanding our nature as Nitya Mukta Swarupa. Very important. See, when we analyze these other philosophers and we try to understand how Shankaracharya tries to convince them, we also try to understand our correct nature. Prakriti and reflected consciousness together make Jiva sentient. See, Atma by itself is sentiency, consciousness. It is its nature. It will never lose its nature. Matter is always insentient. Matter also cannot become sentient by itself. What Vedanta discovers is Jiva, the consciousness, which is its original nature, has another nature which is called as reflected consciousness. And that reflected consciousness comes whenever the mind becomes awake, and the reflection goes away when the mind goes away in sleep. Mama yonir mahat brahma tasmin garbham dadamyaham sambhava sarva bhutanam tatho bhavati bharata. Bhagavad Gita, the 14th chapter, which talks about the three gunas, says, Lord Krishna says, my womb is this Brahman, is this Mula Prakriti. I place reflection of myself in that Prakriti. And then what happens? All the beings are born. So during Srishti, the Sukshma Shariras, they get the reflection from Ishvara, and Ishvara is the cause of the birth of all the jivas. So universe consists of a jiva and Ishvara. Jiva is Chidabhasa plus mind, which is Vyashti, the individual. And then what is Ishvara? Ishvara is Chidabhasa plus the total mind. Like I have a mind, Ishvara also has a mind, which is we call it as Samashti. So what happens in moksha? The reflected consciousness in the jiva merges back with the reflected consciousness in Ishvara, and the jiva realizes, I am Nitya Mukta Ishvara. That is my real Swarupa. Even when I'm experiencing the body and the mind while in Jagrat Avastha, the jiva realizes I am not the jiva with the body and mind undergoing the Jagrat Avastha experience. My inner nature, my intrinsic nature is Paramatma Swarupam, which is pure consciousness. Knowing this nature, the jiva gets liberated. See how beautiful Shankaracharya's explanations are. While going through these explanations itself, you will be able to understand the theory behind Bandha and Moksha. When is a jiva called Bandha? But in bondage. I am in bondage in the Jagrat Avastha. I am in bondage in the Swapna Avastha. I am in bondage in the Sushupti Avastha. When I'm not bound, when I get the knowledge that these three avasthas are not my real nature, I am someone different than the three avasthas, the three states of consciousness, the three states of the mind, together with the reflected consciousness, I'm someone different. As ahamkara, I am the reflected consciousness. I am happy, I am sad, I am born, I will die one day, I am liberated, I am bound. All this belongs to the mind. Try to understand this point. This is extremely important. Liberation is by knowing the existence of one non-dual Atma. I claim that Adhisthana Atma as my real self. Okay, so this is what Shankaracharya's theory is. What happens to some philosopher? Sankhya unnecessarily is saying, why are you posting on Atma, Purusha with many Ankaras, Sukham, Dukkham, Bandha and Moksha? This is what Shankaracharya is asking the Sankhya people. Okay, so this is up to this is the Karika. Now a revision portion is there. Now this is the Karika number 5, which we are analyzing. I told you, like in a pot space, smoke or dirt is there, but that spot space does not soil or dirty the total space. Similarly, happiness or sorrow in one mind is not transferred to all minds. See, why does this Gaudapada Acharya makes this statement? Because Sankhya says you are talking about one Atma. Suppose there is only one Atma in this entire universe, everybody should have the same happiness or sorrow because Atma is one. He doesn't know there is a reflection of consciousness in the mind. This is introduced by Shankaracharya. Next topic 431. For those people who are interested, you can read this type of commentary. This is the 431st paragraph, which in Mandukya Upanishad, which we are studying. So once you have understood all the explanations, if you want to have a quick revision, you can just make some notes as to the views of different uh, philosophers, and then you can just keep that at the back of your mind so that when you want to revise, it will become easier. As I told you, from the third Karika to the ninth Karika, Gaudapadacharya takes the example of space and he compares it to Brahman. Space is one. It appears to be many because of Upadhi. Upadhi means container. Pot is a Upadhi, is a medium for space. In space, the pot is born and the pot is gone. When the pot is born, do we say space is born? No. Space is not born. In space, pot comes and goes. If you have understood this, then when body is born, consciousness is not born. In consciousness, body is born. Body comes and it has its experiences and goes away. The experiences last for a few years and then it goes away. So we see many bodies in our experiences. Many bodies does not mean many consciousness. Space is one, consciousness is one. Pots are many, bodies are many. Pots, the bahutvam, the manyness, it is seemingly plural. Atma appears as this several bodies. There is only apparent plurality. That is why we say Advaita. Advaitam is a fact. Seeming plurality exists for as an appearance in Jagrat Swapna. So plurality, birth, travel, death, rebirth are all seeming. It is not actual, it is not factual. According to Gaudapadacharya, according to the highest theory, see, we do talk about travel of jiva in other Upanishads. When we talk of travel of a jiva, it is for a junior student to come to the level of no travel in the Mandukya Upanishad. At the level of the student of Mandukya Upanishad in chapter 3 is the highest student who has absorbed all types of the other theories which has been discussed in several Upanishads. This is the highest student with maximum qualifications of subtlety of the mind, preparation of the sense organs, control of the sense organs with sadhana chatushtaya sampatti and so on. Other philosophers, they think Atma is plural. So, Shankaracharya says that there is only one Brahman, there is only one space. The commentary of the verse number 5 is over. But then after that, he talks about a debate with Sankhya and a debate with Vaisheshika. There is a detailed debate with these two philosophers. And the debate is very, very challenging because it runs through logic. See, what happens in logic is by the time you try to understand one logical statement, you have forgotten the previous one. This is what happens to most of us. I understand the logic while I'm learning the notes, but it doesn't, my mind is not able to retain that logic for too long. Anyway, that is the problem of the students. What Shankaracharya does is, like, you see, what he says is, in each Shastra, like Sankhya, Yoga, Tarka, there are primers. Primers means what? Like Vedanta has got Tattva Bodha, Sankhya also has got a similar a similar text. Tarka also has got Tarka Sangraha. Artha Sangraha is there for Purva Mimamsa. For Nyaya and Vaisheshika, like Tattva Bodha, there is a text called as Tarka Sangraha. Sankhya Karika is like a text for like Tattva Bodha. And Vyakarana Shastra also has got Lagu Siddhanta Mani. This is just a side point. And now, Sankhya says many Atma should be accepted because Prakriti has to give experience of joy and sorrow, bondage and liberation to different jivas. This is their main fundamental problem. This is their main theory. What is the main theory? Sankhya says there are many bodies. Many bodies have got different experiences. This is our anubhava. Some jivas will get moksha, some jivas are in bondage. Therefore, Atma is many. This is their misconception. Shankaracharya corrects this misconception. Sankhya people say, if there is one Atma, there will be many contradictions. Like I said, opposite attributes will be there. Sukham and Dukkham both cannot exist in one Atma. Similarly, if one Atma is there, all the Atmas will just have only one experience. The plurality is useful, plurality of Atma. This is their matam, this is their debate, this is their point. They say plurality explains to us the anubhava, the experience of the jivas. How does Shankaracharya debate with Sankhya? He says Prakriti can't give anything to Purusha. In Sankhya Matam, Prakriti serves the Purusha. Prakriti means what? Panchabhutas. Body serves the Atma. Atma receives the service of Prakriti. Shankaracharya says Atma can't receive anything. This is the first dosha, first defect. Atma is asangaha. It is relationless. Atma can't support your conclusion. There is no pramanam in the Shastra which says that Atmas are many. See, this is the way Shankaracharya debates. What is the debate? First of all, he says Atma is asangaha. Then he says that there is no Shastra, there is no pramanam, there is no source of knowledge for many Atmas. No Upanishad says there are many, many Atmas. Every Upanishad says there is one Atma. Ekam eva advitiyam Brahma. Chandogya Upanishad. Ekam eva. Only one is there. Then another argument Shankaracharya puts it. He says, how does Prakriti function? He asked the Sankhya philosophy. Prakriti functions not by doing anything to Atma, By mere existence of Atma, Prakriti functions. This is Vedanta. Atma is Karta, Atma is Bhokta, Prakriti is Karta, Prakriti is Bhokta. These are all different terms which are used. But what Vedanta says is, in the presence of consciousness, the whole universe gets activated. Like sunlight is there. When the light is there, it is earth. All transactions take place on the earth. Shankaracharya says, bondage and liberation does not belong to Atma. It belongs to the Prakriti. It doesn't belong to the reflected consciousness, which is the Jivatma. Reflected consciousness realizes I am the Paramatma. I am temporarily in this body, making this body function. But my nature is Param Atma Swarupam, which is original consciousness. How do I understand this? As a seeker, in Jagrata Avastha, I have this body has got a reflection of consciousness. That reflection of consciousness is like a magnet. In the presence of reflection of consciousness, all the organs, jnana indriyas, karma indriyas, antakaranam, they are activated. And then they do transactions. They get sukham and dukha. Activation, cause of activation does not belong to Prakriti, the body, it belongs to Atma, Paramatma. You call it Paramatma, but ultimately you have to realize this Jivatma, Paramatma is only a name. There is only Eka. So Shankaracharya says Purusha never gets bound. Purusha is always free. That is why in in our Vedanta, we say Aham Nitya Muktaha Asmi. Aham Nitya Muktaha means what? As consciousness, I am ever free. Ahamkara alone gets bound. Ahamkara means what? Mind plus reflected consciousness. So, as long as I am the Ahamkara, I will be bound. When do we become Ahamkara? The moment I say I am this body, I am sad, I am rich, I am male, I am female, I am short, I am tall, I am fair, I am dark. All this is Ahamkara. What is the correct expression for us? Not for Vyavahara, for our own self. What is the correct expression? I am Atma. This Atma is not Anatma. It is not the Atma body or mind. I am Atma. I am not the Chid Abhasa. I am the Chit. Chit is alone existing. That is the Paramarthika Satya. Prakriti itself gets bound and liberated. This is accepted by Sankhya in Sankhya Karika number 62. Shankaracharya has studied the Sankhya Karika and telling the Sankhya people that in your own Karika, Prakriti is accepted as bound and as liberated. Why are you saying Atma gets liberated, Atma gets bound? Purusha has no bondage, no liberation. Consciousness is always free. Therefore, I can claim this consciousness as my nature and claim my freedom. Can you see the point? In this world, there is something called as consciousness, invisible. It is known only through Shastra. Shastra means Upanishads. Upanishads, they reveal the existence of this Atma. 99.9% of the people on the road will always think that they are the body. Only when you come to Vedanta, after Jnana, with complete preparation of the sense organs and the mind, you can say, I am Atma. If your mind is not ready, if your sense organs are not controlled, you will not be able to accept the fact. You will hear in the class that I am free, but you will not realize yourself to be free. That is the difference between a jnani and an ajnani. What is the jnani says? Atma exists only as pure consciousness. It doesn't exist along with body, mind, and the world. Keno Upanishad, kene shitam patati preshitam manaha, kena prana prathama preti yuktaha. By whose will this prana is there in this body? Because of the prana only the mind is active. Because of the prana only the sense organs can see things in the world. Because of this prana only I can run, I can cook, I can work in an office, I can talk, I can do all my functions. I here means the body. So what is that intelligence principle which directs the body and the sense organs and the mind? Keno, Keno Upanishad says it is Atma Chaitanya. The light of Atma reveals the world to the inert body. Okay, so this is how Shankaracharya defeats, he explains to Sankhya people. By doing this type of analysis, our own understanding of Atma Tattvam becomes more clear. Sankhyas are astikas. They accept Veda, but they give up some portions of the Veda in their misconceptions. There is a beautiful verse in Ishavasya Upanishad, Yastu Sarvani Bhutanya Atmanvena Anupashyati Sarvabhuteshu Chatmanam Tatho na Vijugupsate. Very, very important mantra of Ishavasya. One of the most important mantras of Ishavasya Upanishad. There are only 8 verses. There are 18 or 19 verses in Ishavasya Upanishad, but the first 8 verses are the most important. 3 to 8. 5 verses are there, which are very, very important in Ishavasya. There it says, the one a jnani who sees the self in all the beings, Same idea is said in this Upanishad also. Mandukya Upanishad, same thing. When you know and you have understood one Upanishad clearly, you will be able to understand all Upanishads. That is the beauty of this education, Atma Vidya. So the person who knows that Atma is there in all the beings, he will never have hatred in life. That is what it says. No hatred. Otherwise, what will happen as Ajnani Jiva, I will always have liking, disliking, raga, dvesha. But Jnani, he knows one Atma in all the living beings. And in that Atma, the living beings are born, they exist, and they resolve. Mayeva Sakalam Jatam. Same mantra I just told you, but it's coming here. So, the Kaivalya Upanishad, 19th mantra, Ishavasya Upanishad, the 6th mantra, keep it in your mind. Most important mantras. As I told you, try to develop your own top 25 mantras of Upanishads, which explain Atma Tattvam clearly. Don't take other mantras, only Atma Tattva. If you keep a list of those 25 mantras, in those 25 mantras, these two mantras should be there. So these two mantras, meditate on them, useful, very useful for meditation. Meditation means just contemplation. You know, you take a mantra, sit down and just contemplate. Or when you're walking on this, suppose you're taking a walk in the morning, many people they do walk either morning or evening. Just when you're walking, just let this mantra rotate in your mind. How does Kaivalya say this? How does Ishavasya say this? Sankhya goes against the Veda when they talk of plurality of Atma. They are seemingly Vaidikas. Vaidikas means they believe in Veda, but actually speaking, they are Avaidikas. Therefore, Shankaracharya refutes Sankhya and Vaisheshika. If you take that Gita Press book, where there is commentary in Sanskrit and explanation in Hindi. In that book, Sankhya refutation is 1.5 pages. 2.5 pages are for Vaisheshika. We have not yet started the Vaisheshika. So far, we have done Sankhya. Next, that is from 432 topic onwards, we are going to start Vaisheshika refutation by Shankaracharya. What is Advaitin's theory? Atma is eternal and all pervading. Sankhya and Vaisheshika, they accept this. Atma is all pervading, it is eternal. So all three of us, we accept this. Sankhya and Vaisheshika, they have a flaw in their acceptance. What they do is they keep tarka or logic as the primary praman. For them, Veda is secondary. For us, Veda is primary and logic or tarka is secondary. That is why you should know why and how we negate Sankhya and Vaisheshika. Sankhya, Vaisheshika are friendly philosophers. They are two different philosophers. Slight difference is there. I will explain to you what the difference is. Yoga and Sankhya, they are friendly. What does Sankhya and Vaisheshika, both of them say? They say Atma is Chaitanya Swarupa. It is nature of consciousness. What does this is Sankhya and Vedanta. Sankhya and Vedanta say what? What is common between Sankhya and Vaisheshika? Common element is both of them, they say Atmas are many. See, we are going into the depth of a debate which existed during Shankaracharya's time. Even if you are not able to understand, the full debate doesn't matter. It doesn't have anything to do with moksha. It is only to just purify the mind. It makes your mind more subtle. Just get, just listen and try to understand their theories. You do, if you can, it's okay. If you can't, also there's no problem. It doesn't affect your moksha concept. Towards the okay, so Sankhya and Vedantin, they have got Atma Swarupa as Chaitanya. What does Vaisheshika say? Vaisheshika, they are completely logic oriented. They say Atma is inert. Now I'm going to start their theory. I might go a little bit faster because those theories are all wrong. But I will start and see how it goes. What is their theory? They say Atma is inert, Jada Swarupam. And there are many Atmas. And many Atmas are all pervading. And they're all Jada Dravyams. They are substance. Atma is a substance according to them. Atma is Nirguna Chaitanya. In Sankhya and Vedanta, in Vaisheshika, Atma is Sagunaha. Atma is always with gunas. What are the gunas in Atma? There are 8 attributes in Atma. What does Vedanta says? Atma is Nirgunaha. Atma is Chaitanya Swarupaha. Vaisheshika says Atma is always Sagunaha, and it has got not one attribute, but it has got 8 attributes. Atma is not in other inert material like Akasha, Vayu, Jalam, Panchabhutas. They are all inert. Panchabhutas and Atmas have got several gunas. Like you have got gunas in Akasha, Vayu. Atma also has gunas according to Vaisheshika. Don't forget, we are studying Vaisheshika right now. For the next few, till the end of the talk today itself, we will be only studying more and more of Vaisheshika. 8 special attributes are in Atma, and they are not in Anatma. This is Vaisheshika philosophy. What are the attributes? Jnanam. It is in Atma but not in Anatma. Will, effort, learning capacity, walking, speaking. They all belong to Atma according to Vaisheshika. In Vedanta, these attributes belong to mind and reflected consciousness. Atma has got Sukham and Dukkham, not the mind. Raga, Dvesha, they are all qualities of Atma. Dharma and Adharma is quality of Atma. Because of the will, Atma does action. These are all Vaisheshika theories. Don't get confused. Atma, according to us, is Akarta Bhokta. So, 8 attributes are not permanent. Atma is permanent. Attributes are temporarily produced and generated in Atma. How are they generated? Atma is inert, Atma is eternal. Mind is inert, mind is eternal. In Tarka, mind is inert and eternal. Infinite Atmas are there, minds are also there. Infinite Atmas are there, infinite minds are there. Mind is what? What is the nature of the mind? It is like a dot. Atma is all pervading, but mind is Parama Anu. Paramanu means atomic size. Yet they say it is eternal. Anything which has got size means it is finite. They say it is like a dot, mind is like a dot. Atma is all pervading, but mind is atomic. What is their special theory? You should never forget. Once you understand this theory, you will never forget Vaisheshika in your life. Why? Because it's very, very absurd. They say all pervading Atma combines with mind and attributes are generated in Atma, like consciousness, will, all the gunas, they are all generated. Vedanta says if Atma is all pervading, it is connected with mind all the time. Not only a certain time mind will combine and other times mind will dissociate. How Atma can join mind at a specific time? It is already all pervading, it is already joined. Forget about getting joined. Atma Manas Samyoga is Karanam for Guna Utpatti. This is the statement of Vaisheshika. What does this mean? Whenever there is whenever there is a joining of Atma with the mind, it becomes the cause for the generation of attributes in the Atma, not in the mind, according to them. It is in Atma. So the 8 gunas, which I have explained earlier, they are the Karanam, they are the cause. When Atma and mind combine in one combination, only one karyam can come. That means when the second attribute comes, the first attribute has to go away. What they say is the first attribute goes away, another new consciousness will come. What Vedanta says is Sankhya has forgotten the impact of Chidabhasa. The Sankhya, Vaisheshika, they have forgotten the concept of Chidabhasa. In their concept, reflected consciousness is not there. What they are saying is what they are doing is they are reading the mind and its functions and they are saying it belongs to Atma. In deep sleep state, Atma mind viyoga happens. Mind gets separated. And Atma in deep sleep is nirguna. When Atma mind wake up, Sagunam appears. Shankaracharya says these logicians' philosophies are illogical. Ichha, Dvesha, Sukham, Dukkhams, they belong to the Sangata. Bhagavad Gita, 13th chapter. And the attributes cannot be connected to Atma. Atma Samavayi. Samavayi means combination with attributes not possible. Because Atma is like space, it is partless. Like, for example, cloth cannot be connected with space. You hang your cloth in the veranda, but space is not connected with in space, the cloth is hanging. In space, the rope is there. Space is niravayava. Space is niravayava means what? Space is partless. So, in short, combination between two is possible only if the products are tangible, murtham, with form. Atma is amurtham. It doesn't have form. Therefore, it cannot come in with any attribute. That is, this is the fallacy brought out by Shankaracharya. See, when we study like this, what happens? Our mind also understands the nature of Atma much more deeper. Second, another fallacy brought out by Shankaracharya. He says knowledge is one of, according to Vaisheshika, they say knowledge is one of the eight attributes and it is formed in Atma, not in the mind. It is formed in the Atma due to the combination of Atma and mind. Can you see how Shankaracharya is approaching this? According to Shankaracharya's Advaita Matam, there is Nitya Chaitanyam, which is eternal knowledge, uh, eternal nature, which is what is I am, I am, I am. I am, when you say this, I am has not changed at all. Since your birth till today, it has not changed. That I am is Atma. What has changed is all the other Vishesha Jnanam. Samanya Jnanam has not changed. Samanya Jnanam is Nitya Chaitanya Jnanam, Swarupa Jnanam. I have discussed this in other Upanishads. Swarupa Jnanam, Vishesha Jnanam. Remember that topic. Tarka does not have eternal consciousness as Atma. For them, Atma is temporary. For them, Atma is temporary, it's got temporary knowledge. What is the flaw in their understanding? They have forgotten it is the mind which has got vrittis, which has got thoughts, and the thoughts have got temporary knowledge. In Vedanta, Vishaya Jnanam is thought based. Vishaya Jnanam is what? Objects. During the Jagrata Avastha, I have so many different types of objects. That is all Vishesha. It is specific knowledge. And then we also have Vishaya Smriti Rupa Jnana. Suppose I'm sitting in a beach or sitting under in a garden under a tree and then remembering all my old memories. That memory is also called as knowledge in Vaisheshika. It is not called as memory, it is called as knowledge. In Tarka's memory, Atma joins the mind. In mind, there are many samskaras, vasanas are there. From vasanas, memories are generated. We also say the same. But what is the problem? Problem is Atma is asangaha. This is the main argument of Shankaracharya. It can join the vasanas. Vasanas belong to the mind. It cannot combine with Atma. What does Shankaracharya say in the next topic? He says, there are many, many vasanas which are, vasana means impressions, samskara. Whenever you have an experience, you have some portion, some memory of that in your mind. Some people have got phenomenal mind. They can remember everything in the world. Whatever they have experienced till now, there are so many people who have got tremendous memory. That is not an asset. It is a liability. Because you have to drop that and then realize I am the witness of those thoughts. Infinite vasanas are there from infinite janmas. Vasanas generate memory. Atma Manas Samyoga as a cause of memory is not possible because whenever there's memory, according to your theory, all your past vasanas should come at same time. This is what Shankaracharya says. Sarva Smriti Yugapat. Yugapat means in your theory, all the old vasana should rise immediately, simultaneously. Or that is not the anubhava of our jivas. These are flaws which are pointed out by Shankaracharya for for Vaisheshika theory. So this is the mantra, chapter 3, verse number 5, which we are studying, and the following is a little bit of revision. Uh, Atma is one, no division at all in Atma, according to Gaudapadacharya. He says there is no difference between Jiva and Jiva, Jiva and Ishvara, Jiva and Jagat. There is no difference because in Atma, Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara are appearances and disappearance. The differences are only seeming, they are not factual. Consciousness is enclosed in different bodies. Enclosures are many, they are seemingly plural, but consciousness is one, exactly like space. Containers of space are different. You may have a big pot with 1,000 liters, which has got 1,000 liter space, and a small pot with 1 liter space. Similarly, there can be an elephant body or an ant body. In both these bodies, consciousness is the same. Existence principle is the same. This is the message of the fifth mantra. This is what the Shankaracharya wants to say as a message, but then he spends a lot of time refuting the truths. Sankhya and yoga are bahutvavadis. This is a revision. This is a revision portion. I'm just taking it up in case you have missed uh, some of the points. Wherever it is important, I will back to you again. Now, uh, yoga people, they have got the samadhi theory. Chitta vritti nirodha. Whenever the thoughts are gone, then you will realize your Atma. Yoga. This is yoga philosophy. What do they say? The problem in yoga is they say each one has got a distinct Atma. Therefore, you are always in Dvaita. So Samadhi leads to Dvaita philosopher. Samadhi is not a pramanam for Advaita. Are you able to get the point? If you're not, I will explain to you in your Q&A. Now, Advaitam, we can arrive at Advaitam only in Jagrata Avastha through the application of Veda Pramanam. Try to remember this point. In sleep, you cannot know Advaitam. In dream, you cannot know Advaitam. Therefore, in Brahma Sutra, there is a sutra in the second chapter. The second chapter is full of this Sankhya, Yoga, Vaisheshika, Nyaya debates. If you like these type of debates, you should study Brahma Sutra. It will make your intellect sharp and you will be able to get a better appreciation of Atma by studying these debates. Here, Shankaracharya directly refutes Sankhya and Vaisheshika and indirectly refutes Nyaya and Yoga. Vaisheshika says Atma gets 8 attributes by Atma Manas Samyoga. Shankaracharya says Atma is partless, niravayavam. So anything which is partless like space is niravayavam. It cannot combine with anything. So samyoga in Jagrat and Swapna, Vyoga and Sushupti, this concept of Vaisheshika is not acceptable to Shankaracharya. Atma is always there. It is eternally, it is all pervading. What Samyoga and Viyoga, which Advaitin says is, it is the mind which rises. It has Samyoga with the consciousness in the form of reflection. Shankaracharya says that in Vaisheshika, not explain the theory of memory. Advaitin and Vaisheshikas, they agree that samskara janyam smriti is there. There is vasana, both of them agree. But the way it rises, the way it goes away, there is a difference. Atma is niravayava. It is cannot combine. Memory cannot be generated in Atma as a type of jnana. What we say is it is memory is a part of mind. It is not part of Atma. Vritti jnanam is temporary. It is not eternal, which we have seen many times. Whereas, what does Vaisheshika say? Mind is eternal. Mind is nityam for them. For Vedanta, mind is produced in Srishti Kala. By whom? By Ishvara. Ishvara produces mind for all the jivas to go through the sukham and dukkham for maybe so many lives. Again, it merges back to Karana Sharira in Pralaya Avastha. So, mind is anityam in Veda. Whereas Vaisheshika says mind is eternal. See, can you see what are the problems of Vaisheshika and how Vedanta corrects those problems? Mandukya Upanishad says that mind is born. Mind is generated when Sukshma Sharira Shrishti takes place by Ishvara. Mandukya Upanishad, second chapter, first section, third verse. This is a pramana for the utpatti of the mind. एतस्मा जायते प्राणाः मनः सर्वेन्द्रियाणि च खं वायुरापः पृथ्वी विश्वस्य धारिणी. From this Atma is born the five elements. And who is holding them? Atma is holder of all the Panchabhutas and all the living beings, Sukshma Shariram and Sthula Shariram. Mind is eternal, therefore, another point Shankaracharya says is, in your matam Vaisheshika, if mind is eternal, you can never have moksha because it is eternally there. Mind is full of raga dvesha, likes and dislikes. How will it ever be free? Support what will happen if all the memories come at the same time? This is the Yugapat Sarva Smriti dialogue. Okay. The next point is okay, I'll see if I can cover this point. I'll take another 5 minutes. Topic number 434. Shankaracharya refutes Vaisheshika Matam of Atma joining the mind. Atma Samskaras joining the mind. Both these are refuted by Shankaracharya. Now, Nyaya and Vaisheshika, they have a theory of Sapta Padartha. I will not go into very big detailed explanation, but I'm just going to run through the theory. Their theory, a couple of slides are there. This will explain to you what complex theories are possible with reference to art. What are the 7 categories of substances according to Nyaya and Vaisheshika? Number 1, dravyam. Second is gunaha. Attribute is also a substance. Every substance is endowed with attributes. Every substance has got activity, does many actions. Substances have got treeness, universal or jati. birdness, maleness. Substances have got Vishesha, special attributes. Some are atomic, some are Vibhum. Vibhum means infinite in size. Samavaya, substances have got relationships. Samyoga, Sambandha, that means clip and hand can have Sambandha. They can have relationship. A clip can be in your hand. So there is a Sambandha of substance with guna, with action, with Vishesha, with Samanyam. There is an inherent relationship. According to, these are all Vaisheshika theories. And then they say there is another category, the seventh category, it is called as abhava, non-existence. Suppose there is a chair and nobody is sitting on it. They say that absence is also a substance. Suppose container is empty. They say empty container is also, emptiness is also a substance according to Tarka. So Sapta Padarthas are this entire universe. There are 9 dravyams, 2 samanvayas. Abhava means non-existence, absence. And then there are infinite gunas. And then there are actions. Now, all this together is Sapta Padartha of Vaisheshika. Shankaracharya refutes all of that. That's why I'm not going to the details of this. Dissimilar substances cannot combine. Atma mind sambandha is not possible. Dravyams cannot join. Vaisheshika says dravyams can join. Guna and kriya, not a substance. Uh, Shankaracharya says dravyams can't join guna and karma. They are not separate categories in Veda. So this is just a beginning. There is a little bit more detail, which we'll take up next week. We'll start from this topic number 435. And then next week, we will start with this topic 435 and then slide number 214. We'll start next week with this. See, ultimately, in the last slide, Shankaracharya, in one slide, one page, he gives the final theory of Vedanta. In that final theory, I'll just give you a gist of it so that you, today, whatever we have discussed, it's all debates. Shankaracharya says there is one consciousness. This consciousness is eternal. The 3 avasthas, waking, dream, sleep, they belong to Prakriti. In consciousness, eternal consciousness, waking, dream, sleep, which belong to the jivas, which are, as per the law of karma, the 3 states will appear and disappear. The jiva is one in this body who, through this knowledge of Advaitam or through the knowledge of Upanishads, he realizes I am not the body or mind going through the law of karma. I am the consciousness which is present all the time in the body. Even during sleep, consciousness is there. Therefore, we all have a feeling that we always exist. Our nature is we always exist. That is our experience. But We have a wrong notion in our mind that I am born, I am dying. This notion is a thought in the mind. It is an adhyasa, jnana adhyasa. Drop this misconception from your mind. Claim your swarupam as eternal chaitanyam. That is the ultimate aim of Shankaracharya in this fifth mantra. Okay. This is in short, this is the summary. This is what he's going to say in the last page. I'm just telling you now so that you know that all these theories are all completely false. This is the ultimate thing which I should hold. Okay. So we'll stop here today and with the Mandukya Bashyam. We'll continue next week with topic 435. Oh, Namada, Namidam, Purnat, Purnamudachade, Purnasya, Purnamadhaya, Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari. No questions in the chat box. If you have any remarks, any comments on today's talk, uh, you can raise your hand and one by one, I will ask you to join. You can you can express your comments on the meditation portion, on the subject what we discussed. If you have understood, you can say, yes, I understood. If you have not understood, you can say, yes, I have partially understood. But some feedback from you will help me to see how to continue this type of discussion. Yeah, Nandu, go ahead.
Hariom sir, beautiful session, including meditation also. In this session, as we mentioned, like about various darshanas like Sankhya, Vaisheshika, then
Yeah.
and conclusion is the about like Uttar Mimamsa, which is like Brahma Sutra, and
Yes.
Acharya had beautifully refuted all those things. And as you mentioned about like the some of the beautiful mantras like Nyaya Sakalam Jatam, and as per my understanding, I believe the Tatu Samadvayat, which is the fourth sutra, first chapter of Brahma Sutra, and there Acharya summarizes various shlokas from different Upanishads, and maybe superficially it looks like maybe different meaning, but the reality is the something same. I believe those are the some of the beautiful mantras for us to maybe for discussion or maybe contemplation.
Yeah. Yes, I agree with you, Nandu. For others, what Nandu Desai is saying is he's talking about Brahma Sutras. And what he's saying is the fourth sutra of Brahma Sutra is Tattu Samanvayat. And in this fourth sutra, Shankaracharya writes a brilliant commentary. Brilliant commentary. I mean, I will take the Brahma Sutra, at least the first four sutras, if possible, maybe at a later date. But the fourth sutra is an amazing sutra. It is a very, very brilliant commentary where Shankaracharya brings out uh, all the important Upanishadic mantras. And he says that All these Upanishadic mantras, they are leading to the same knowledge of Turiya Atma. Whether it is Brahma Satyam, Jagan Mithya, whether it is Panchakosha Viveka in Taittiriya Upanishad, whether it is Kathopanishad, Anyatra Dharma, Anyatra Dharma, all these, they lead to the same one Eka Atma. What Nandu is saying is, he says that that particular sutra explains the Brahma Sutra, it explains the essence behind all the Upanishads. I mean, sometime we'll do that, and today's session, especially, I would say that it's been one of the most important talks for Mandukya, and what I summarized in the end, last 1 minute, 2 minutes, is the essence of all the Upanishads. So if you have got the gist of the last 2 minutes, you would find that this is the essence of our study. I will re-explain to you when we go through that through the portions. Today we have stopped at 2144. Now this is explained in somewhere in the last in the 2170 or somewhere in that region. So we probably in the next session I will be explaining to you what I explained to you in the last 2 minutes today, because Shankaracharya summarizes that and he says that this debates is fine, but don't forget what is the essence of all this teaching of the Upanishads. One page in one, say, 8 to 10 lines, he gives uh, the final portion. It comes in slide number 2170, around those slides, towards the end of the fifth mantra. Next week we'll be taking up that. We will be finishing up the fifth mantra next week, and towards the end there is this beautiful section. Okay, Ganesh is saying yes. There are these meditation sessions uh, are good. I'm glad you're enjoying them. They reinforce our learning uh, of the Upanishads, especially Nirvana Shatkam is an amazing work of Shankaracharya. Amazing work. I mean, I would say they are the best for senior students, not for juniors. Junior students will have to go through the Karma Yoga and understand the Bhagavad Gita first. But once you have learned the Bhagavad Gita and you have come to Upanishads, these mantras will be extremely revealing to you. Uh, okay. Bharat, yesterday in Prashna Upanishad class, there was a request by the seekers, by the people who attended the session yesterday in Prashna Upanishad, that some people, they wanted to have a Bhagavad Gita study group. So, in the discussions yesterday, we decided, yes, there will be a small group, which Bharat, who is based in London, he will coordinate that small group and they will discuss the practical lessons of Bhagavad Gita in day-to-day life. Because that was a request from some of the people who attended the session. In case there are some people who are intending to join that or who attended and who have not sent their names to Bharat, Bharat has given in the chat box his phone number. If you have like to join this group, who will discuss in the coming weeks, and there will be a format which I will explain to the team. and they will discuss the goal of this group is only Bhagavad Gita, and they will discuss uh, relevant portions of relevant mantras from the Bhagavad Gita, which are practically can be used on a day-to-day basis, like Yukta Hara, Yukta Chestasa. There are many mantras understanding how the organs of actions and Prakriti is the cause for all our experiences. In chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5 of Bhagavad Gita, these are all very, some, I would say there are about 25 mantras. 20 to 25 mantras are there, which will be taken up for discussion from by this group. If there is anybody in this group who wants to join, you can contact Bharat in this WhatsApp. The number is given in the chat box. Yeah, Shama, what you say is the chanting of Nirvana Shatkam. It is by Vijaya, who's so beautiful. She has taken up the task of chanting all the Upanishadic mantras. One by one, she has almost completed. I think she has finished entire Mandukya Upanishad. uh, 200 verses. Then she has done Taittiriya, she's done Nirvana Shatkam, and now she's doing Aitareya Upanishad. Fantastic. I mean, amazing work. Uh, yeah, anybody else has any other comment?
Yakaji, it's Bharat here. I
Yeah,
wanted
Bharat,
to
go ahead.
ask about this the Bhashyam that we've been reading. In summary, would it be fair to say that Shankara is using logic in a way to show that whichever way the other philosophers, whichever way they conceptualize reality, because they are giving a definite um, existence to the substance, the knowing substance, it's causing paradoxes in their philosophies. Whereas what Shankara seems to be doing, maybe I'm mistaken, is he's showing that Atma cannot be a substance. It cannot be objectified if it is if it has that knowing capacity, because if it is if it is that which knows, it cannot be modified. And if it cannot be modified, then it cannot have any independent existence. Hence, it can only be the one who's doing the conceptualizing in the first place. So in a roundabout fashion, he's negating the he's negating that Atma can have any properties whatsoever by showing that the other philosophies you end up in a tangle.
Yeah, you're right, Bharat. Uh, what you have said now is a summon substance of what his debates and how he presents his debates. Uh, the fundamental flaw in other philosophers is they do not understand the mind. Shankaracharya understands mind very, very well. And he, see, another, so point number one is the other philosophers, they don't understand the working of the mind. They are totally confused with mind and Atma separation. Whether you take Vaisheshika, who says there is a combination of mind and Atma. If you take Sankhya, they say mind exists separately and Atma exists separately. So when you go through these philosophers, in Dakshinamurti Stotram, he summarizes that this problem of all philosophers. He says that people think that they are the body, people think they are the mind, people think they are the sense organs. All these are all adhyasa. All these are all wrong philosophers because they have not understood the mind. The moment you understand the nature of the mind, you will understand entire Advaita Veda. And what is the most important aspect of the mind which we have to understand? Mind is Prakriti. Mind is made of Panchabhutas, subtle elements. I am not the mind. I am someone who is observing the mind. I am a witness of the mind. Again and again, you must drill this point in your mind that I am not the mind. Mind is a product of nature. It is a product of Panchabhutas. It is a product of Prakriti. Prakriti, so first lesson is mind is a product of Panchabhutas. First lesson. The second lesson is Panchabhutas, they have got modifications, continuous modifications. Vikara. Continuously they are having modifications. The third lesson is the Panchabhutas have got two conditions: manifest, unmanifest, manifest, unmanifest. Indirectly, we are saying mind has got two conditions: manifest, unmanifest. In the manifest condition, it is Jagrat or Swapna, waking state or dream state. In the unmanifest condition, it is sleep state. Who am I? I am the witness of this condition, three conditions of the mind. Manifest condition, I am witnessing in the Jagrat. Unmanifest condition, I am witnessing in the sleep state. I am Turiya Atma. I am beyond this Karana and Karya. Karana is the Sushupti, the sleep state. Fourth and fifth mantra of Mandukya. Karyam is the waking dream and the manifest states. So both this, the entire world which I am experiencing, entire world which I am experiencing, I here means consciousness, Turiya Atma. World which I am experiencing, Anatma, I am the Atma, I am the eternal experiencer. I am always conscious. That is my nature. These are the 4 or 5 lessons related to the mind. And the other philosophers, they are not got these 4 or 5 points. The last point you should remember is mind is dependent on Atma. Mind does not have its own dependent nature. Mind is dependent on Atma. All the 3 states of experiences are not possible without Turiya Chaitanya. Because of this, what is the conclusion? Because of this, the conclusion is, I, the Turiya Atma, alone and am appearing as this entire universe. Waking, dream, sleep. Sleep is just an unmanifest nature of Prakriti. I am real, World is unreal. World means three avasthas, three sharirams, and panchakoshas. The entire world experience is an adhyasa. It is a superimposition on Atma. Shankaracharya's Adhyasa Bhashyam is the fundamental substratum on which he writes all the commentaries. If you understand this, what I have described in the last 3, 4, 5 minutes, you have understood the entire Veda. You are free. Your free means moksha is your swarupa. Today, what I discussed in the meditation is swarupa jnana and vritti jnana. Vritti jnanam is anatma, waking, dream, sleep, whatever is your experiences, it is a thing but as per the law of karma. Body is born, body goes away. It is law of karma which is active, which is controlled by Ishvara. I have digressed in my answer, but I thought, Bharat gave me an opportunity to talk on this. I can continue, but time is short. Anybody else has a
Shakaji,
question? Yeah,
so
Bharat, go ahead.
Shakaji, I just want to say that's a brilliant answer. I'm so glad you brought up Vritti Jnanam and Swarupa Jnanam, especially Adhyasa. Even to go around saying everything is Adhyasa, even that has to stop at some point, because Adhyasa is a fantastic but albeit subtle concept which ultimately has to go as well. Because when you say adhyasa, that's a vritti which is illuminated. So to say that this is adhyasa, it's that one step behind the thought. This is adhyasa.
Yes, you're right. Adhyasa, the word adhyasa itself, if
Yeah,
I'm using, it
yeah,
is only for doing the neti neti of all the other
correct,
things.
correct.
But it is also a vritti.
Yeah,
The ultimate vritti is aham atma asmi. I am the
yeah.
atma is the ultimate vritti which you should develop in your mind. Aham nirguna atma asmi. I am nirguna atma asmi. What is the meaning of this? I am attributeless awareness consciousness.
But this is why the Bhashyam is so important. In order to understand why attributeless applies to Atma, this is why Shankara tries to debate all the philosophers
Correct.
to
That's
show
right.
that the only way it fits is if you are attributeless. Otherwise, you're missing. You're still in ignorance. You haven't quite understood.
Correct. Good. Very good, Bharat. I'm glad you brought up this question, and I know I can expand on this so much, but time is short. Thank you. Anybody else has a question or any comment? Shanta, do you have anything to say today?
Uh, Not really, because everything is covered. I was only looking at the bits of the information, the lecture where you were comparing, and what I found that space doesn't change. You've said it so many times that the pot space and the outside space. And I was just thinking a little more about it, because you pointed out it's the pot comes and goes, the space remains. But when you said the body comes and goes and the space remains, that was like a difference to me today. That
Good.
yes, we have to look at it in every aspect, not just in terms of pot or the water, or the waves come up and go. But that was something which really sort of picked my brain today. And nothing affects Brahman. With all
Yes.
these changes, it remains pure, untouched, asanga. And that is something was very touching today for me.
Very
And I'm
good.
glad
See,
that,
the
yeah.
impact of the Bhashyam is this exactly what you're saying. You even,
Mm,
this impact you can never get unless you do Bhashyam.
yeah. because we would have not gone through these little examples and little things which actually expand and make you come closer, the reality come closer to you, rather than you just listening in the vague and not understanding. But when these small small things really make a lot of difference, I find. And that is I'm very very thankful, because even that little small thing, you might think it's a very small thing which you mentioned in the in passing or as an example in the talk, but it did capture my mind, and it sort of made some space that I needed to, understand, and made it a bit more
Good.
clear. So thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.
Dhanyawad.
Thank you, Shanta. Thank you. Yeah, Shama, go ahead.
Hello, Shikadi. Just a very small question. I just wanted to, for a complete resolution of the Atman Atma, this idea of perfection or imperfection, this is all within the realm of the Anatma, the mind itself, isn't it? When it comes to, obviously, Atma, there is nothing like perfection or imperfection.
Absolutely right. This is a struggle for many seekers. Many seekers feel that I don't have sadhana chatushtaya sampatti. I don't have viveka. I'm lacking viveka. I am lacking vairagya. All this is good in the beginning stages, in the Tattva Bodha stage, in the Gita, Bhagavad Gita stage. When you say this, it is true. But when you come to the Mandukya Upanishad Bhashyam class, you should say, all this belongs to Anatma. I have got nothing to do with it. I am the Atma. I am the witness of this perfection and imperfection of the mind, which is Anatma. I have got nothing to do with the mind. Mind gets born, mind resolves in pralaya avastha. I am not bothered about the mind. Mind has got punyam, it's got papam, its a body has got experiences. All these experiences will go on.
It's just
I
the
am
nature of the
consciousness.
Prakriti. Yeah.
Yeah, they're all Prakriti. See, now when you understand Sankhya, Prakriti Purusha, you can understand the flaw in Sankhya system, which says that Prakriti is independent of Purusha. Shankaracharya says there is no Prakriti without Purusha. This understanding is what makes the difference to a seeker. The seeker keeps on thinking that how can see because the seeker is always identified with the mind and thinking that the mind is playing mischief. It got deluded yesterday. It became angry. But then what do I say? I became angry yesterday. I was deluded. I suffered a lot. Somebody scolded me, or somebody didn't obey, or somebody said this and that. All this is to do with the mind, which is anatma. Nothing to do with me, the atma, which is the revealer of this atma mind.
And in a similar this desire for seeking, or a willingness to seek, or the complete intention, all this is also, how does the seeker, because at a certain stage of chitta shuddhi, you can actually see the big difference between atma and anatma, and therefore the desire to actually seek the ultimate, it's intensified.
There are two ways which happen when you become a senior seeker. One is you understand there are two results which can happen. One is your intensity of seeking will go up. That is what, as a junior seeker, you will say, yes, my intensity is going up now. I want to really understand this Atma. I want to read, I want to do more and more bhashyams. I want to understand. So that seeking becomes more and more intense. That is what is called mukshutva. Some people say, I want to spend all my energy, spare time in reading the Upanishads. So then what happens? You say, I want to meditate, I want to do japam, I want to do dhanam, I want to do all the spiritual qualities, I want to slowly engage.
So that's just the mind which is getting more purified, is it?
Exactly. It
Okay.
is nothing but only the mind which is getting more and more purified. The samskaras of the mind are getting polished. You are becoming
Mm-hmm.
more sattvic in your mind.
Correct. Yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
this is only the journey. The
Mm-hmm.
path, the spiritual journey. What is the end of the spiritual journey? Mind is mithya. Body is mithya. Jagat is
Yeah.
mithya. I am Satyam. I means consciousness. I means Atma. Atma Satyam. Brahma Satyam. Jagan Mithya. Jivo Brahma Yavana. That
Absolutely.
is the last lesson a seeker realizes. That is why Shankaracharya in Katho Bhashyam, he says, Jiva, Jagat and Ishvara are nothing but Tuyam. Turyam itself is appearing as Jiva, Jagat and Ishvara. Turyam.
Yeah, amazing.
Amazing. You know, we have done Etat Vaitat mantras in the meditation. We have done. So in those mantras of Etat Vaitat, there are 11 or 12 times Etat Vaitat is repeated in Kathopanishad. And in those mantras, Shankaracharya commentary is amazing. It's amazing. They are brilliant. I mean, in the whole Upanishadic commentary, I would say Mandukya Upanishad mantra commentary and Katho Upanishad commentary are the two best for the seekers. Very, very interesting. So just to tell, that means what? Turyam itself is appearing as the waker, dreamer, sleeper.
Yeah.
Turyam itself is the para prakriti and apara prakriti. That means what? Do I have to, whenever I see the word, it is nothing but God only.
Yeah.
Shankaracharya says this. He says, whenever you experience world, you don't have to go separately to a temple to see God. If you are a jnani, you will see God whenever you wake up.
Yeah. So in fact, really, none of these things should bother at all. One should think of it as only steps in the journey and a bit of a hallucination of the mind itself, you know.
Exactly.
So,
It's a delusion of the mind. It is a misconception of the mind. Come out of it and apply the Upanishadic knowledge all the time. Whenever you are doing mananam or nididhyasana, use the Upanishadic knowledge. I am Atma. I am Atma. Then you are not wrong. Then your meditation is perfect. Good.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you.
See, many of you, what you are now what you are telling me now explains to me. I mean, I understand that you have understood the Bhashya, whether it is Bharat or whether it is Nandu, all those people who have been talking today, they have got the gist of the Bhashya. I'm very happy. It's quite a long time. Anybody else has anything else?
Okay,
Okay, we'll stop today. Namaste.
Namaste. Great.
Namaste.
Namaste, Shekharji.
Namaste. Namaste, Shekharji. Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you.
Namaste, Shekharji. Thank you.
Namaste.
Thank you, Shakaji. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Bharat. Thank you.